the college football playoff system has changed once again. And this one I feel like is very, very interesting, and I want to get you guys' opinions on this one for sure. So now they went from having the top 4 seeds, and then you had your fallen from the conference championships. Now it is going to be the top 4 seeds that the committee chooses will get the automatic bid. I personally think this is ridiculous. I'm going to have BC, you're up top, my man. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on this new change. Before
BC goes, can you please clarify what this is if you obviously know? Clarify it more in a dummy sense, right? And I'm not just saying for everybody. I'm saying for me too, because I honestly do not know the ins and outs of this whole new deal, new era.
So the main thing with it was that it came down to money, just like anything in the world does. It was that it came down to money. And so now they're able to give people some more money. Now people will still be getting chunks if you make the 12-team playoff. Before it was they were talking about conference championships. And so they chose the top 4 college football championships that won the conference. They advanced to the first, get the automatic first round bye. This new system, it's going to be what the committee, and the committee is a group of 10, I believe it is, and they all vote on who they think deserves to be in the spots that they are. Now it's going to be their vote is going to get the top 4 automatic bye first round playoff. It's not going to come down to conference championship again anymore. It's not even going to do with record. It's going to come down to what the committee believes is the top 4 best teams.
The committee themselves, no one else, just the committee themselves.
It's the committee themselves. Yep.
That's all fucking money, bro. It's all money, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like it either. BC, man, what's your thoughts on it, buddy?
No, I mean, you're literally just like you guys said, you're basing it off money, and now you're giving all the power again back to these playoff committees and stuff like that. Like I'm so, when it comes to college football rankings and everything like that, like that's the one thing that kind of pisses me off. It's like I get it. These selection committees and everything like that, they play a hand and stuff, but you're giving more power now to the committees. Mm-hmm. Instead of just putting the best, like I get it. People don't like, all the conference champions and this and that, like ranking this person out of that person. Like I get it. People want to say, oh, well, the SEC is the greatest, or oh, Big Ten is, but I'm just so tired of giving all the power to a group of people that can decide whether or not this team that won this conference is greater than this team that won. I don't like it. You're basically putting the power in the hands of an oligarchy for college football, which I'm not a fan of.
Yep, and those same people are going to select the same teams that they want to see there all the time.
Yep.
Ohio State, Alabama. You know, they want to see the top teams. Obviously, they bring in the most money because a lot of these schools, if you really think about it, what is there to do in Alabama? To go watch a football game. What is there to do in Ohio State? Go watch a football game. That's why they're bringing in the most money, and obviously they're talented. Obviously, they're one of the best football schools in the country for sure. But it should just be on records. Who has the best record? The top 12 teams that have the best record, boom, get in. That's it.
Yep.
And so I get make a difference and stuff, but still, like,
you still have to go out there and win your games. And again, I'm sorry, I'm sounding like a broken record at this point. I don't care. I've got my Orlando garb on. UCF 2017 undefeated record. I'm not saying they would have won the national championship. I'm not even saying they would have made it past the first round of the college football playoff, but they deserve to be there over a team that didn't even compete in the conference championship game. Come on.
So honestly, I feel like I'll try and make this a little bit more simpler than for everybody in this situation to me. I think, and this is what I was talking about last time, and I think the reason they changed it was the same thing I was complaining about last time when this came up, was that a Boise State and Arizona State, or excuse me, not even really Arizona State, Boise State got one of the byes. I think what they needed, they can make this very simple. If they're going to keep it at 12 teams, which I'm sure they're probably going to advance it more because more means more money, and that's just obvious. But if you're going to keep it at 12, why not solidify which of the top 6 conferences then are going to be the ones that actually matter? So let's go together here. You got your Big Ten, SEC, ACC. Who else we got? We got the Big 12.
Yep.
You got, and you have your independent if you want to. And then if you wanted to have, because the Mountain West made it in last year, make the Mountain West or the American, one of those other smaller conferences. Those make it, this is the top 6. Those 6 teams are going to be the automatic, they get it in. because they won their conference championship. And then you find the next 6 best, and that's your 12 team. If you want to go with that route, I think that's the easiest route to do it. You can kind of go through with the strength of schedule, if you will, to find out who's going to get a bye, or you give just one bye, something along those lines, kind of like how the NFL does it. The top 2 seeds get the bye, and everybody else has to play it out. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And also, I think the other thing they need to change is they need to change the way these places, where they play the games. I think that if you're going to have like the Sugar Bowl or something along those lines, if you had the Sugar Bowl in, let's go, Alabama versus Ohio State, and it's in Louisiana, that doesn't help any of them teams for getting to that spot, to making to that place. It should be the higher seeded team gets to host the game at home. That brings in more sales to the school, more. It makes them better, so that they were able to get that school there. That's the point of winning, is not. So I just don't. I think they're moving this overly complicated for a reason they don't really need to. And also, if they're going back to just having the 10 people decide, then why the hell did we get rid of the BCS system with the computers to begin with? Because now we're just doing the exact same thing that people didn't like because they didn't like the computer system. Well, now we're leaving it in the hands of people's opinion, opposed to at least the computers had no bias. They just looked at what the stats were. You put the numbers in, they crunched it, and these are your best teams. Yep. It doesn't make any sense to me now that we're having all this weight on these 10 people. And you can't tell me the fact of that, hey, my alma mater is Notre Dame, and Notre Dame isn't going to possibly get a couple more votes, or, hey, here's an extra 10 G's in your back pocket. Make sure Alabama gets in. It just leads to so much behind the scenes stuff that I just don't like. I feel like they're overcomplicating this, and I don't like the new system at all.
You know what I say we do? Just looking at it right now, too, the amount of conferences that we have. We've got 11 total conferences for college football. We have 2 of them that have less than 5 teams in the conference, which it's funny how they're called independents, but it's still a conference. Like, it's still why don't we force the independents to join conferences? And then also, too, the Pac-12, 2 member schools. I know they're talking about growing it and stuff like that. Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. There's no point. Mountain West and Pac-12 can join together. You've got 13 teams there, right there. Boom. Problem solved there. Independence. Make Notre Dame join, I don't know, the ACC. Like, make them join that for football. And then I believe it's Army and Navy. Make them join the conference. Make them join conferences as well.
Well, the Army and the Army is definitely in a conference, as they're in the American.
Okay, so then that. Let me take a look. Oh, we got University of Connecticut, and then UMass Amherst. Yeah, that's interesting. But just make these other teams join conferences, and you've got 9 conferences with at least 10 teams. Why not, if we keep 12, let's just try 1 year where and people are going to go ahead, roast me in the comments. I don't care. Do 1 year where do the conference champions from the 9, and then have 3 wildcard teams and 9 at-large teams. And then that way, everybody that wins the conference championship,
makes the best sense right there.
Yes, we can at least satisfy those people, and they can shut up. It can shut them up, and then that way as well, you've got every conference represented. And then if the SEC is superior as they say, then you've got 3 other SEC schools that are represented. Then they'll run the gambit, and then you've satisfied everybody. Everyone can stop complaining. Oh, we don't get, the MAC isn't represented. Mountain West isn't always represented. Sun Belt isn't always represented. Just everyone's included. You still have 3 at-large teams that can make their claim. You can still put Alabama. You can still put, let's say, Oklahoma or Texas, and Oregon. We'll just say, and then everybody is represented, and you're okay. Just do it that way for 1 year. See how it works, and then if it doesn't work, then you go back. You figure something out. Like, we're still experimenting a lot with the college football playoff. I don't think there's any problem with dissolving a couple of these conferences. And then you have 9 total, and then you have 3 at large. Why not?
So the pushback on that would be, but there's some SEC teams that are better than other teams in other conferences, right?
Win your conference.
It's just exactly. It's just like the NFL. There's divisions. Yes. There's teams in several divisions that are complete trash, and they still make it in the playoffs. Yep. BC's division in particular, and then you got other divisions where teams, they're all great and they all make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, bro, just be good. Just win your games. That's it. If you're an SEC team and you're not in the top 3, sucks to suck. Be better. I don't know what to tell you.
It's like
I don't understand why you guys are getting so upset because you're better than other teams in other conferences. Okay, that's not your conference. In your specific conference, you are not the best. Sucks to suck.
Well, and the thing is, if you're that butthurt about, oh, well, we're in the SEC, so we can't win. Here's a great thing. You can lobby to go outside the SEC and go somewhere else. Oh, but you're too scared and you're too afraid that you're not going to be relevant because you're outside the SEC. It's like, no. Under this new system,
can't please everybody.
Under this new system, if you're that upset that you can't be represented because you're like fourth in the SEC, you can now go somewhere else and dominate and be represented. Genius idea.
Yeah, I think that with this new system, that's where it defeats the purpose of even having a conference championship now if it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the point. It's like I understand people's rhetoric with certain conferences being tougher than others. I get it. It doesn't matter what level of sport you're going to play at. It's always going to be there. So how about we make the focus and the point of these conferences to win games? Because at that point, if you're just saying, oh, well, I can be 6-6, but I deserve to be in the playoffs because I'm in the SEC, that negates the point of winning football games at that point. You're just going based off of alleged strength of schedule, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, I agree. I think this should be a lot simpler. This should be a lot simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like this should be a hell of a lot simpler, and I think you're on the right page with it, is that if that's the case, if we're going to do that, and that's what March Madness, I mean, how many times made it happen even last year? There's always an upset, and you get these obscure conferences that make it in, and they get a chance, and hey, it works out. And I think that's what they should be doing, is allowing all the conferences that are eligible to make it in. You take that conference champion, you go in. So then you have your Mountain West. Now, don't give them an automatic bye, because if you want to go out, that's where strength of schedule would actually come in. At least they make the tournament and they have their opportunity, and you're not like having the UCFs of the world that's like, hey, we were undefeated and we basically got nothing out of it. So I think you're completely right on that. And I think that's what the path should be, is that you get all these conferences, they get in, and then that's where the committee can come in. If you're let's go boil it down to 8 or 9, whatever you're going to believe it is, 8 or 9 conferences that actually matter, they're going to get in. But that's where the committee comes in. They decide and vote on the other 3 to 4 teams that get in. They can also vote on who gets the buys. You know, that one's pretty subjective. That one's not necessarily as subjective. You can look at strength of schedule, key wins, points. There's a lot of things you can do, or just go back to the computers, type it in, have all the analytics in there, and the computers decides this is the best on paper. And by the way, what's interesting too is since they got rid of the computers, the computers and the people have only been off by 2 picks. So really, it hasn't really changed much. So why don't we just go back to the computers,
And I'm in complete favor, by the way, of with regards to if we want to base the buys on strength of schedule, I'm in complete favor. Okay, give the Power 4 conferences the bye, because that's their legacy. Like, if we want to have a legacy pick or a legacy thing, let that be the determining factor. And then, if you get a school like a UCF that's in the American, they go undefeated, let's say 1 year, and it's like, okay, congratulations, you went undefeated. Now go prove you belong in this system. Prove that your conference deserves to have a bye. And maybe if you make a deep run, maybe then next year you can say, hey, we went far in the playoffs. We won the national championship. Our conference deserves a bye this year. Okay, well, let's see which conference first round bye got bounced early in the playoff system. Oh, let's say the Big 12 did. Okay, well, Big 12 now doesn't get a bye this year. The American gets a bye this year. That way you kind of.
I don't know. I don't know if I could go with like the legacy thing, because then I think that doesn't really help out your purpose.
Well, what I'm saying is just for the first playoff, like, give those legacy ones their nod, and then if you do have a conference that goes far, that earns the chance next year to get the playoff bye, they get it, and then whichever conference got bounced first, like, let's say Big 12 gets bounced in the first round of their bye, then they get kicked out, and the American gets the chance to get the first round bye. And it's that way it's a merit-based system where you've earned the right for that conference to get the bye. Whereas if you lose in your first opportunity, well, you got to earn that spot back. I don't know. It's
almost like soccer, like relegation, I guess, if you will.
Pretty much, yeah.
It all comes down to money. It comes down to money. At the end of the day, this is why they're changing it. They probably didn't make as much money as they thought they would last season, or didn't get as many views as they thought last season by putting Boise State in there and these other teams that shouldn't even been in there. And they got to put the big dogs in there because they know it's going to bring money. That's why they switched it up, and they're like, yo, you know what? We're gonna go back to the committee and we're gonna make the decision on who gets in and who's out because they know they see the numbers, they see all the stats when it comes to money making business with this whole college football playoff system. So,
What's
at
wild?
the end of the day, they're gonna keep doing that. They're gonna keep doing that. They're gonna keep pushing for the money. It's not on which teams win or lose, or which teams in which conference are the better teams. It's just gonna be which teams bring in the most money.
Yeah.